Good afternoon, class. Welcome back to the last class of Outlier University Bravo. Can you believe it? The last actual class of Outlier University Bravo. On Thursday when we meet, it is going to be graduation day. Graduation day. Everybody's encouraged to drink during graduation. This is unlike any college you've ever been to. But it's been a long road, right? So what I want to do today is finish filling up my drink over here. I want to cover candlesticks because Kostya's mom doesn't know what candlesticks are, and neither does Nana Yule. I gave Nana Yule the Discord access, and she's like, you know what? I was reading about Kostya's mom, and she didn't understand candlesticks, and I realized I don't understand them either. So I was like, oh, we got to do that. We can't let Nana Yule down and Kostya's mom down. Kostya, what do we call your mom? Nana Kostya?
Just like, do you know the real name?
No, it doesn't have to be. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. So Nana Kostya and Nana Yule, we want to make sure that these lovely young ladies understand what candlesticks are. And then the floor is yours. Anything you want to talk about, everything you want to talk about is on the table. I'm going to do everything I can to possibly make you successful because, yeah, it is a sad day. It's the last week of Bravo classes. I agree. Listen, don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened. Put it that way. So, all right. Let's, Carol actually sent us today's study material. So Carol, thank you for that. We're going to start sharing screens and taking a look at candlesticks today. Okay, so first, candlestick patterns explained, plus a free cheat sheet. Awesome. So first thing to know about candlesticks is they are the history book of the market, right? The history book of the market. So at a glance, you can see basically everything that happened in a single day. Now, you can't see what happened at any certain time. Like, I don't know what happened on this day, but I can tell you one thing. It gapped up and then it sold off the entire day. I don't know why, right? This was on November 20th. Maybe people were worried that there was going to be some sort of turkey shortage, right? And then they found out the turkey shortage wasn't going to happen, and then bam, right? Went literally right back up, right? By the way, huge giant moves like this, while it's been sideways choppy, it's very unusual to have this amount of volatility with choppiness. Generally, it looks like this, where it's a lot smoother, a lot less volatility. In fact, there's an indicator for that. It's called the ATR, right? So you can see ATR levels being depressed, and then starting in October, ATR levels jumping, volatility jumping, and has not stopped since then. We're talking from ATR of roughly 4.5 to an ATR of roughly 7.5. So, you could say maybe a 50% growth in volatility while the market's gone sideways, right? Look at that. You guys understand what I'm talking about now, right? You guys know how to read that, right? When I talk about ATRs, when we talk about volatility, right? Those may have been foreign concepts to you a few months ago, but look at you now. Look at you now on the other side of this, right? You can very quickly say, oh, I get it. I understand why. Right? Well, maybe not why, but I understand what's going on, okay? So going back to candlesticks themselves, there are schools of thought. In fact, I have a book, read it once. I wasn't really into it, called Japanese Candlesticks Charting Techniques. A handful of notes in this one. Ludicrously overpriced this book was. But basically, the only candlesticks that I actually picked up and were worth remembering were the hammers. Hammer, uptrend. Right, the hammers. So hammers are, see if I can find one similar to that. What I'm looking for is a long wick down with a high body, with a really, decently small, less than a third body near the top.
TSM.
What was that?
TSM right now has one on the daily.
Let's go look at that. Oh my gosh, somebody just killed a cat.
With the hammer.
There we go. Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah. So long wick down, and then the body, red or green, near the top. Now, what does that mean? Like, think about this logically. What would a candle like this mean? In fact, let me ask a couple of people. Mark, since this was your idea, what would you interpret that candle to mean?
I view that as a bullish candle. Like a lot of people tried driving the price down or didn't succeed. So there was more volume at the top of the range than there was in the volume. So there was a run to the downside and it failed.
Exactly. That is exactly how I would interpret it, how the books would interpret it. And I mean, there's different like levels to this, right? Like this one right here, similar situation, a huge move down, and then it closed on the top third of the range, right? Similar situation to that. So that the sellers came to town, but they were overwhelmed by the buyers. Now, one thing that I like to do is imagine if this were an arrow, right? Terrible arrow. But what I'm trying to get across here is this is kind of telling you the direction that this candle could be going. We're not going to make any sort of expectations, but if it looks like that, hey, it could be showing you that there's more room to go because the sellers who tried to push it down, they were unsuccessful because the buyers pushed it back up. Is everybody following along? Now let's look and see if we can find one in an inverted hammer. There's probably a different name for it, right? There's all kinds of goofy names for things like this. Looking for a long wick to the... Here we go. This one right here. So similar situation here. The buyers tried to come in. Okay, we're looking at this candle. The buyers tried to come in, right, to push the price up, but they ended up pushing the price down. So imagine that's an arrow drawing the price down. Now, did that exactly happen? It did, right? It actually did push it. I mean, this did not do anything. This is just like reading in a one paragraph in a history book, right? This on its own didn't do anything. Don't get this construed, because some people look at this and they're like, oh my gosh, this is magic. This is the secret sauce behind the markets. No, it's literally a history book, okay? That's all it is. But the theory behind this candle did play out, right? Now, I'm sure there's a million examples of this candle happening and it not playing out. So I don't put any sort of money behind that. Now, if you had consistency and discipline and a trading plan to do that, by all means, you do you, right? I'm not going to tell you how to trade. But at the end of the day, those are the only candles. In fact, here's another one, right? The theory behind this one. Actually, this is a great example, right? You've got this one here with this big old wick with an arrow pointing down. This one here with a big old wick with an arrow pointing up. Everybody tracking? And then look at that. So therefore, with my limited data set, this means it always works. So anytime you see one of these happen, just prepare. Just get ready. Bet the house. Go sell all your fancy gold watches so you have money to go buy this. Right? That's what it's going to be. Right? Again, that is how people actually think. They're like, oh my gosh, there's two perfect examples of it working. It always works. So what does this mean? Right? Let's back up a little bit here. With a green candle, the open is at the bottom and the close is at the top. And the green candle shows that it moved up during the trading session. The wick is where the high point was and the low point was. So if it opened here and went down, and then it continued up through the day, went up even higher, and then ended up closing down, that would be what that represents. A red candlestick looks like this, where it opens up higher, and at some point during the day it goes up, some point during the day it goes down, but this is where it closes, okay? So looking at this, right, using that same interpretation, we can see this one closed at this level, and this one opened at the exact same price. Everybody see that? Opened at one price. Let's say it opened at 170, or I'm sorry, closed at 175. Where's it at? Let me mark it on here. 175.48. The very next day, it opened exactly there and then sold off, and we can see that it closed at 172.06. Now, that is the standard normal candlesticks. There are many different kinds of candlesticks to choose from. How exciting. How exciting. Now, the ones that I would absolutely tell you to stay away from are Heikin Ashis. The fake gurus on the internet love the Heikin Ashis. Oh my good gravy. They love Heikin Ashis because just with one click, Just with one click, you can make it look like it's the easiest thing in the world. Don't you guys see? It's so obvious which direction this is going. This doesn't even tell price. Like let's actually look at this, right? When I say this doesn't even tell price, right? This is at, let's say 344. This is at 361. And let's put this back to regular candles. What? That looks nothing like what's actually happening in real life. YouTube gurus love Heikin Ashi candles for this exact reason. It obfuscates the actual truth of what's going on. So stay away from Heikin Ashi candles. There's actually no good reason, in my opinion, to trade them. And again, this is just history books, right? This is just history books. So let's continue on here. So we understand what a bullish candlestick means and how it's green in the body. That's the open to the close. And the bearish candlestick is the same with the open to close going down. You know, it can be really tight, right? So something like this. This is called a Doji candle. Does anybody know what a Doji candle supposedly represents? This, let me circle it.
It's when the buyers and the sellers are basically they're balanced. So the amount of buyers versus the amount of sellers are the same.
Yeah,
Ish.
That's a great answer. Typically, the way that I've understood it is it's an indecision candle. An indecision candle. Like, I don't know if it's going to go up or down. Well, nobody knows if it's going to go up or down. Who is clicking this? Did I see Joe get in here? Joe, what the frick are you doing here? Just trying to like steal all the spot. Joe has a studio is limited to 10 people on screen. Oh, okay. Joe, I can't put you on screen. That's okay. I didn't want you on screen anyway. Thanks a lot, Joe. Anyways, so yeah, that's an indecision candle. And you can see how it changes, right? And of course, an indecision candle means like literally nothing. Thanks. That's super useful, right? Okay, let's keep going. All right, graphic. Let's look at this graphic. Now, there's all kinds of patterns that you can throw around with these, and I don't use these, but you may. So I'm not going to tell you they're right or wrong. They may be perfect for you. So there's a Doji candle, like we talked about, right? Let's see if I can find the hammer candle. Hammer candle, right there. Yeah.
I guess, I mean, it's not my cup of tea, but I guess if you back tested a certain configuration of candles and proved there was an edge, then you could add it to your plan, couldn't you?
Absolutely. But keep in mind that these are more subjective than I'm comfortable with, right? These do take a bit of interpretation. I don't love interpretation. I like data. I like math. So of course there's lots of different things, right? Maybe 3 white soldiers, right? These would be green candles here, 3 green candles. That could be a bullish pattern. Let's see if we can find 3 green candles. There you go, 3 green candles. Boom. Of course it always works. That makes sense. Let's see some bearish things over here. How about a tweezer top? I couldn't tell you anything about that. Or an evening star. Or a band. There we go. I remember this one. A bearish abandoned baby. There you go. There's a bearish abandoned baby right there. Right. You got one up. What was that?
This seems just like astrology.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. And then this is one of the reasons why I don't pay attention to these. Now, again, to Stocky Locky's point, they could be great for you, right? Don't let a random guy on the internet tell you not to do it, right? It could be brilliant, but it's just not for me. It's just not for me. Let me go back here.
It's also a bit tough to backtest this, right? If there is some subjectivity in here, then like to backtest, you actually have to set rules. And then is the candle like 35%, 37%? Like, when do you draw the line?
No, you're totally right. I 100% agree with you. And there are software companies like TrendSpider had a candlestick identifier. I don't see it here in TradingView, but of course TradingView surprises me all the time, so they may have that as well. And it would like highlight, be like, oh, this is a Doji, and this is a bull flag pennant upside down cheesecake staircase, right? I don't know. I don't care, right? I really don't. All I really wanted to get at was, what do these candles mean, right? This is what matters, right? This is the history book of the market. Okay. Let's see what else we can learn.
What's also interesting, if you go to TradingView, there's a lot of upward momentum or upward movement, and it's still red, right? So just because that particular day is down, that doesn't mean anything's reversed. So like whether it's sometimes it's green and it's going down versus it's red and it's going out from a trend standpoint.
Right. It's actually looking at the trees rather than the forest.
Yeah.
Like I know Mark likes to use that type of analogy, right? They can't see the forest because of the trees. Like this is looking at each individual tree and then trying to ascertain what's going on in the forest. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're totally right there, dude. Who discovered the idea of candles? The Japanese guys, of course, right? The Japanese candlesticks makes total sense. The story that candlesticks tell. Already talked about that. All right. Let me see if there's anything worth talking about here. What does the candle formation tell us? Oh, geez, I clicked that. How about this? Alexander Elder. I know that guy. Dr. Alexander Elder. Hang on, get out of here. As renowned trader and best-selling author, Dr. Alexander explains, the main advantage of candlestick charts is to focus on the struggle between the amateurs who control the opening and the professionals who control closing. I never heard that before, or maybe I did and I forgot about it. But there you go. Another reason why trading at the end of the day makes sense, right? You want to be part of where the professionals are actually putting their money versus the amateurs. Studying candlesticks help us understand the price action and where the stock is more likely to move in the next minute or the next few minutes. Sure. Sounds good. All right, let's look at this, right? Inside of a bullish candle. I would like to point this out because this actually makes a lot of sense, right? Imagine that this is what this is 8:30 a.m. Central and this is 3 p.m. Central, right? Between the close and the open, between the open and the close, at some point it moves down, at some point it moves up, right? But we really can't tell what happened at 9:43 a.m., right? This was 9:43. I also don't know what happened at 2:59 p.m. because that's not exactly closed. 3 o'clock is closed, and that was right there, right? So a lot can happen inside of the candle, and you really don't know, which is another reason why the most random guy on the internet, professional investor that you know, doesn't pay attention midday. All kinds of stuff is going to happen midday, right? The price is going to go up, down, sideways, who knows, right? But does it really matter? No. By looking at this during the middle of the day, you're causing a lot of anxiety and potentially just negating your trading plans. Absolutely, just throwing your trading plans out the window. Let's see.
Seems like candles would be more important to a day trader than it would be to a trend trader.
I mean, it can really be whatever, right? I mean, if you integrate this into your plan, then you're looking for the next day or whatever to follow based on these candles. Yeah, see, I told you I had a different name, the hammer / the hanging man. That's so scary. Hanging man. Okay. Hammer. Engulfing patterns. This is what I've seen a lot of on the internet, where it's an engulfing pattern is where the top of the next candle and the bottom of the next candle are greater than the entirety of the previous candle. In theory, that could be a bullish thing. Let's see if we can find an engulfing candle right here. This one's close. It didn't quite close. If it closed a little bit, or it opened a little bit lower and then closed higher, that would be an engulfing candle. But again, right, this is trying to predict the future, which nobody can do. Hey, bullish sandwich. Gotta have the sandwich pattern. Morning stars. There you go. Morning stars. The evening stars. Oh no, the evening stars. That's where they that's on the Lord of the Rings, where they're going off into the west to see the evening star. There you go. That means it's the end of time, the end of the hobbits and the end of humanity right there. Neutral candles. There's your dojis. There's your Marlboros. Your Marlboros are over there. Marlboros? Yeah, Marlboros. There you go. This is the most useful lesson of all time in Outlier University. I agree. Mainly because I don't care about these. Raise your hand. Do you care about these? Does this help you in any way, shape, or form? I don't know, right? No, nobody's raising their hands.
I feel like this is the last week of grade school where you've already checked out. You're just looking forward to like the hot dog lunch or something, you know, like.
Are you saying that I'm calling in this lesson? You're skinny, you're buff, but you're about to get banned. And once you get banned, you don't get a diploma, my friend. No.
I mean, to some degree, they're just like any other indicator, you know, like they're a tool, you know, don't put too much stock into it. They can tell you something, but don't base 100% on what you see, or don't base 100% of your decisions based on what they're supposedly telling you or not telling you.
Yeah, I guess you can use it as another confluence, can't you? That's what I was saying about the plan. Not that we do it, but you could add it to the plan if you see and you've proved it. It may work for you. You might see something that the rest of us don't.
Chris, back before I kind of got into Outlier, I used to do a lot of day trading, and that was kind of a big part of how I committed to a trade, is reading the candles and recognizing the patterns and stuff like that. But man, was it time consuming, like big time.
Yeah, it didn't help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk for only 82 cents a day?
Absolutely not. I was spending like 8 hours a day just in there looking at charts sometimes.
You mean that you replace looking at candles with Outlier? What great sales pitches. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so since you did use that, Shane, I would love to hear what that looked like to you, right? Walk me through like a typical, setup or trade entry exit based on like candle rules.
Oh, well, I'm like a firm believer in trend lines. I know it's really subjective, but I would set like trend lines at certain places, and if the candle wicked above and stayed above for or went above more than 3% on a 15-minute chart, then that would give me confluence to get in, and then it'd be kind of just the opposite for me to get out, because I didn't hold a trade overnight because I didn't know what it would do when the market was closed. I just did day trading.
Was that profitable for you? Did you make money in day trading? Because I didn't.
It was. I've made more money doing what I do now, but I was profitable. It just was completely time consuming. That's all, on my off days. That's all I did was just sit there and stare at the computer, and I was just like, okay, cool, I'm making, okay money, but it was just the time was killing me. And this here, it's probably, oh my gosh, not even like 1/10 of the time like I've spent day trading as I compared to the my trading plan I have now.
That's great, dude. I love to hear that feedback, because like I the day I gave up trading, I used to trade futures contracts, right? And I know Dave loves to do that. Dave, one of the alpha graduates. But there was a day where I spent the entire day watching. I mean, like I couldn't even leave the computer, right? The entire day watching, and I made $8. And I was like, this is so much less than minimum wage. Why did I even do this? I am over it. I'm never doing this again.
There's days where I spent all day watching the computer and I lost money. So that's even worse. Just wow, I spent 5 hours looking at this and I lost $250. But my profits were better than my losses. But I prefer now much more than day trading.
Well, and I like to hear that, because right, the objective with Outlier University was to get you all, I was going to say you guys, but all of you guys and ladies, to the point where you have a plan that works with your personality, right? Because if that plan doesn't work with your personality, it's not going to work, period, full stop, right? Like if you go to the Chinese buffet and boy, do you hate Chinese food, you're not going to enjoy yourself, right? You're not going to be there long. You're not going to be eating all the Mugu Gai pan or the orange chicken you can help yourself with, right? You're probably going to go over to the little kids section where they got the chicken nuggets and a hot dog. And you're like, oh, okay, I'll get a hot dog. Me and Skinny Buff Guy are going to hang out together eating hot dogs because it's the last day of class, right? I get that, right? And so you don't want to build the Chinese buffet of trading plans that you're never going to follow, right? So I think that's a great point. Let's see. Carol actually sent me over 3 different documents. So that was number 1. Let's go to number 2 over here. More candlestick patterns. again, there's a lot of subjectivity that comes to this. I mean, the bearish kicker, man, if I had only known about that on silver, then I would have changed everything in my life, right? Okay, I'm gonna be done with that one. Let's go over here. Candlestick patterns chart 2. Okay, part 2. 5 candlestick biases. All right, let's zoom in on this. A bullish bias, yeah, I can agree with this. The close is higher than the open, so a green candle. That totally is a bullish bias, and it makes sense, right? Because more buyers are coming to town. They've overwhelmed the sellers, and they're pushing the price up. That makes total sense, right? Close is higher than the prior close. Yes. So higher highs and lower lows are what develop a trend. That absolutely is the definition of a trend. In fact, that is one of the reasons we came up with the donkey channels, the Donchian channels, as they are actually called, is because this shows you if it's getting more higher highs or more lower lows, right? That's what it's trying to show you here. So yeah, that makes total sense. I'm in agreement with that. Close is higher than the prior high. Yeah. Oh, I see what it's saying. The close is higher than the prior high. I can get around that too. Oh, here we go. Another hammer candle, right? Totally agree with that. So far, I agree with everything on this page, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to trade around that. That's just getting used to price action and what price action looks like, right? Carol, you've traded a lot longer than several of our other students here in class. Having these bullish biases, right? Did these factor into your trading plan, or is this just what it looks like when the market is just price action in general?
Yeah, I used it. It was just like Mark said, it was just another indicator. So it gave me some sense of, what the day was and how many buyers versus sellers there were. And if it was a strong enough trend and if, keep going. But I would always use, I'd say the hammers and the hangman. Those two I use quite frequently just to determine, we're going to do a bullish run. Should I stay in one more day kind of thing? Or if it gets to the hangman, is it going to tip over? I did use those. Now, were they always correct? No. Maybe 60% of the time for me, when I used them, they would work out. But typically, it was just another indicator that I added to my toolbox, so to speak, to, help make the decision.
Yeah.
And it was, obviously I didn't use them in day trading because I closed out the trade by the end of the day. So it was more about doing swing trading is where I used it. If I held it overnight, was that a good indicator for me to use to hold overnight if I wanted to do a swing? That's all.
That makes sense.
It was just good, good information to know. Have at least you're able to somewhat assess the chart itself to see what's going on. If it's strong position, either up or down.
And honestly, I like that idea, right? If you're holding it into the close or holding it for whatever reason, closing at a bullish bias makes a lot of sense to me. Let's go to NEM, one of the trades we put on last month, right? There were definitely some really bullish candles to go along with. There's an engulfing candle. Hang on, by the way. There's an engulfing candle right there. So therefore, it only goes up after that, right? And of course it did, right? And there's another engulfing candle right there. I should have known. I should have been like that one guy on YouTube who's like, yeah, I sold on my silver, but my price target's 150, right? You can play both sides of the coin once you're a YouTube guru, apparently. But yeah, maybe in the future we could look for some sort of bullish or bearish engulfing candle to be a big warning sign. I'm sure somebody in the Discord saw that coming, right? I'm sure somebody was able to point that out well ahead of time. Okay, let's keep going here. Actually, I think this part is kind of interesting. Higher highs and higher lows, right? That is what defines a trend. Yep. 5 bullish biases. Close is higher than the open. Close is higher than the prior day's close. Close is higher than the prior day's high. Small body above a long shadow. Higher highs and higher lows. There you go. Right, we can do some like science over here. Apparently, this is like the periodic table of dojis. Yeah, there you go. Hammer candles, takeaways. Yeah. So let's wrap the candlestick discussion up. Right, they show open, high, low, close. there are different types of candlesticks. In fact, let's go over here and play with a few of them, right? Because we talked about the Heikin Ashi candles, aka the YouTube fake guru candles. Oh my gosh, what is happening? What? Okay, that was weird. It like stuck to my mouse.
I think that one's great, Chris. It just shows everything going up.
Dude, yeah.
Just shows everything green.
Dude, of course.
It should go up.
It should. What happened to SoFi on this one? Oh no.
Bye.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh no, SoFi. Wait. What about Elf Booty? There we go. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's a great time to buy the dip, right? So the new rule is when you see a Heikin Ashi candle that's as tall as your house, that is when you buy the dip.
You buy
right? That's the rule.
Yeah, that's the F My Life candle.
Okay, let's try some more candles. Why not? Oh, bar candles. I actually used to trade with these. They are exactly the same as the candles that you're used to. What do they call these? Normal candles? Normal candle. Okay, so I used to use these, but very honest, right? They're difficult to see, right? And even they may not be coming through well on the screen share, right? They tell you the exact same data as this here. In fact, you can go back and forth, and you can see it just fills it in. But it just marks your open, high, low, close. That's all. Then there's another hollow candles. These always tripped me up. I didn't really get them, and so I don't use them. Hollow candles are a little bit different. Let me see. They do tell price action. What? So this one is red here, but if I go to a hollow candle, it's green. And this one right beside it is green, but then it goes hollow. Yeah, it makes it makes my brain work too hard. Right? I got itty baby brain. I can't figure that out. Volume candles. Oh man, I got to upgrade for that one. Got to get my hash to pay for that. You can do lines. Yeah, why not? You can do lines. Now, of course, lines, they're only going to plot one data point in betwixt all these points, right? Which, if you only care about closing price, makes total sense to me.
I used to use that, Chris, for support and resistance levels back in the day.
The lines?
You used to use the points to make the support and resistance. That was old Ben. That was old Stocky Locky.
Who's Ben? You got step lines. There you go. You can do that. You got area charts. Ooh, that one's pretty. Kind of like that one. With the gradient shading, that's nice. Right? There's all kinds of different things. Open, high, low, close area. Oh yeah. So that's 3 areas, but it shows open. What does it say? Open. No, high, low, close. Okay. It doesn't even show open. It just shows high, low, and close. All right. Baseline. Buy when it's green, sell when it's red. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. Look. If I move it up here, it's all green. If I move it down here, it's all red. That's fun. This is now Chris just farting around in TradingView. What's a Renko candle? Whoa! I need to start trading with those bad boys. Man, that makes trading easy. Yeah. Look at that thing. That looks awesome. I like that one.
I would stair stepping your way up.
Dude, this makes life so easy. This is the fake guru handbook right here. You just get on that one. You get out of the way and write it back up again. Okay. I got the rule set here. Ready? The first red candle, you close your trade. The first green candle, you buy back in. Oh man, this is easy. This is so easy. Man, why hadn't I tried this before? Renko candles for everybody. Never mind that these don't actually tell at all what the real price is. Every single one of these is uniform in size. Okay, makes sense. Point and figure charts.
Sorry, Chris. How does that last one work with the price?
The Renko? I don't know.
That's weird, isn't it?
That's super weird. Okay, then there was point and figure. I have heard of people using these. But goodness gravy, that seems complicated. Wait, hang on, this is weird. I'm on the daily charts. Oh, is it stacking for like
what is it?
Every X is like a day? Oh, weird. Okay, I didn't expect that. This is well beyond my little baby brain. Okay, so I'm going to stick with regular candles. You do you, of course. Have you guys ever used anything different? And if so, what did you use and why? I'm curious. Anybody use the Renko candles? Just looks so easy. Oh, Charlotte, what did you use?
It's not really different, but I use that line one to day trade the pre-market on the SPXL. And it's really easy because there's so little volume that you just get tiny little lines instead of candles. So it's easier to use the line chart.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Very cool. Let me look on chat, see if anybody else is using it. Kagi is absolutely the best. What's Kagi? I don't remember seeing Kagi. Oh, Kagi's right here. We didn't look at Kagi. Oh, good gravy. What are you supposed to do with this?
Like a snake.
It is. It's playing snake with the market.
Nice.
What the heck?
That's-
Huh. Yeah, the ADHD is real here with the need to look at the charts. Hey, Katie Garcia, there's a ban button on my side. Get ready. I'm going to use it. Okay, so in a nutshell, there's all kinds of different ways to look at the market. Remember, all of it is just the history book, right? It's telling you what's happened in the past. There's no way you could possibly see what's happening in the future. Even with certain candlestick patterns that, could potentially work, right? You won't actually know until the next day happens and the next several days happens. And then you're looking back at the candle being like, oh yeah, it did or did not do this, right? So we are in the final stretches of Outlier University. What at all subjects are on your mind? Anything at all that you want to talk about, that you want to cover, that I can do to help you out? I am here for you in our last throes of Outlier University. What can I do for you? Go ahead, Charlotte.
Mine's more to do with the psychological trading, but it's at the end of the trade, you always seem to have a pullback, and I struggle to deal with the pullback at the end of a good trade. Like you always seem to have a wee loss at the end. Can you discuss that at all? Like, is there any ways of looking at that, or just to suck it up?
I like this. So let's talk about this. Let's shift back to real candles. All right, and let's go to NEM. I noticed you said always. Back when my wife and I were having our premarital counseling with the Catholic Church, they said, one thing that you should never say to your wife is always or never, right? Because we know that's not the case. Yeah. So anytime she or I says always or never, we always point each other out and say, like, you can't say always, you can't say never. So this absolutely happened here, right? There's an unlikelihood of you ever getting out at the top of anything, right? Very, very, very unlikelihood. Can it be done? Absolutely, it can be done, but the likelihood of that is super low, right? So let's use this move on NEM as an example, right? And let's draw on the chart. Art knows where I'm going. Art's mouth is watering already. I can see it. Right? So you're looking at when the cross happens, right? Right there and right there, right? Now, of course, I would love to get in on this very bottom candle. And actually, no, you could get in. No, eraser. You could even get in lower, right? Imagine you got in like way down here. That'd be even better, right? But the trend didn't start technically until right here. So we're looking at this and we're like, okay, well, I didn't catch the bottom 20% of the move, and that's okay, right? I'm at least in it for the big move. And then the move happens and it runs up and it's awesome, right? And then it pulls back and then you get out here, right? So yeah, it's okay. I didn't catch the top of the move, but you know what I did? I got all of this in the middle. That is exactly trend trading in a nutshell, right? You're never going to catch the top. You're never going to catch the bottom. Mathematically speaking, it's going to be nearly impossible to do that. Could you do it? Right? Could you get the this is the top candle sign? Sure. I mean, it probably helps if Nancy Pelosi is your great grandma, but until that happens, like nobody's really going to know the future. So I get the frustration of, man, I would love to get out and not have any sort of pullback, but it's almost unrealistic, right? So it's also difficult when, and trust me, I understand completely that by marking to market or looking at paper gains, this feeds into that FOMO, right? This really feeds into that FOMO. Because let's say you were up I don't know, maybe you're up $20,000 as this is running, right? And then it turns around and you look at your account and you're up, oh man, I'm up $45,000, right? I can go buy a Tesla with that or something, right? This is amazing. And then it pulls back and you're like, oh man, I just lost 25 grand. But did you though? Because you never actually had that money. You didn't plan to get out. You had no intention to get out. You were going to let that run as far as you could. And then it comes back down. And this is actually what the trade was worth to you, was that 20,000 in this case, right? This is a bad habit that a lot of people get stuck in, which is looking at those paper gains, wishing, hoping, praying that actually got to stay in their accounts, when in all reality, it was never going to be in their accounts because they never were going to catch the top anyway. So maybe that's where the frustration's coming from, because I get it. Trust me, I get it, Charlotte, right? But it's the 80% in the middle that you're going to make generational wealth on. Like generational wealth on. And yeah, of course, I would love to have that as well, but it's unrealistic to say that you could get out the very top. So I would say, actually, in this case, to embrace that uncertainty, right? Because we don't know how high it can go. Maybe next time it could go up even higher before you get your exit signal. But I don't think you're wrong in feeling that. That's a normal feeling, right? That especially looking at the paper gains, like, man, I just wish so much that I got out at the top. Rick has a great point, right? Order blocks can really help you, right? Getting out using the order block. This one right here, right? This could have been a good example, right? Because it did eventually go back below that point, and you know, it definitely had enough buy orders to chew through it, right? But there's plenty of times, like right here, let's say you got in and you got out almost at the very top when your order block hit it right there, and then it took another 2 months basically to get back to that same point. And during that time, you could have been onto something else. Order blocks can absolutely help you get out at the top. You want to see an example? SoFi, baby. SoFi. Right? SoFi. Remove 17. Yeah. No, that's not what I wanted. Not indicators. No, go back. There we go. Okay. I want to remove for drawings. That's what I wanted. Right? This right here was the top of SoFi for months. 155 days until it had enough strength to blow through that point. And there was one random dude on the internet, when all the other random guys on the internet were screaming, you got to buy SoFi right here, who was saying, you're coming up into an order block. Receipts are on YouTube. And it fell 53% from that point. That's probably as close to picking the very top as you're ever going to get when it comes up into an order block, taking that exit signal to say, there is additional risk overhead. There are additional sellers up here. I'm going to get out of the way. I don't know what's going to happen. And if it chews through it and it goes up higher, that's fine. You could always get back in if you choose to. But I'm definitely not going to hold that risk as it crashes back down. Great point, Rick. Thanks for bringing that up, my friend.
Chris, did it break the 2 ATR off the 20 EMA? That reference there that you made in the last reference? So I'm just wondering whether the overextension is something that may be...
The top of the value zone. No, it didn't. In fact, it did a whole bunch over here. And had you got out on the first candle where it popped over the value zone and you chose not to get it, you would have missed out on a lot of gains. Look at that. I mean, let's say you were holding it inside the value zone. It pops up. This is the first candle right here. That is 3 ATRs above the value zone, right? Around 986. And then it runs like gangbusters until the trend finally bends right here, or even runs into this order block right here at $18. So it nearly doubled since that first peak over. Right now, that is not something in my my trading plan for Plan M, but it is for the ETF, right? For SPXL using the SPY. It happens very infrequently, right? There's one candle right here, July of 2024. Let me see if there's any other time. There's one right here, July of 2025. So in July, make sure you sell out. That's how it goes. Twice in 2 years that it's happened on the SPY.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, probably a lot less than y'all expected. Certainly for me, I didn't realize it was that infrequent. But But on an individual stock, you could totally give up a lot of gains by not letting that trend work for you.
Which sort of makes sense. Individual stocks can very easily run 5-10% a day for a few days. They'll blow through those through those lines versus an ETF with hundreds of stocks inside. The chance of all of them doing that is very unlikely.
Right. And when you have the stock set up and you've got the sector set up and then you got the market set up, right? That's the slingshot right there, right? When you got everything working for you, you don't want to put an arbitrary cap on top, right? That's akin to saying, this is my price target. If it pops over this point, are you actually going to sell, right? Or are you going to let it run? Let it run as far as it possibly can, right? That is the way to make vuku bucks, as Nanny Yule would say, in the stock market, which is just cut your losers short and let your winners run like crazy until they stop running, right? And of course, right, like on NEM, right, it can run like gangbusters and then very quickly turn against you because silver had a once and ever move, and then you just got to get out. Take what you can get out of it. I still made like close to 40% on this trade, even after this big nasty sell-off. Right? Power of options right there, crazy. But Charlotte, the mental aspect of trading is by far the hardest part, right? The hardest part of trading is between your ears, no doubt about it, right? Having that consistency and discipline. In fact, when I was at the gym today, right, I was just doing my thing. I go to the gym every day as my quote lunch break, and I've been doing that for ages. I mean, as long as I have had like a grown-up job, that's what I've done. And that's my consistency and discipline to go to the gym, and I'm in great shape, right? And I look at other people in my age group, and they aren't in the same kind of shape, and it's because I go to the gym with consistency and discipline. Your account balances are going to also be in great shape because of having consistency and discipline. You can't just show up when you feel like it, right? You can't just show up and be like, well, it's Tuesday, you know the deal. Let's make some money, baby. And then you don't have any rules. And even if you do have rules and you only follow them on Tuesdays, I guess if that's what your rules have said, that you only trade on Tuesdays, that makes sense. And maybe if you just follow that with consistency and discipline, it'll end up in the right spot, right? But generally speaking, you should be available. There's a very dangerous word, but you should be available every day to look at what's going on in the market, right? Because we don't know where the opportunities are going to come, right? We just don't know. And because we have no idea where the opportunities are going to come, you need to be ready for it, right? I mean, I don't know anything about this, and I have the utmost respect for law enforcement, but every time they walk up to somebody at a traffic stop, they have to be prepared because something could go down, right? It could be fine, but every time they walk up to that window, it could be crazy, right? And so in a similar regard, every time the market's open, you got to just show up, see if there's something to do, and if there's not, you can just bounce, right? As Shane was saying earlier, right? Having that lifestyle setup for your trading is vitally important, right? And for Shane, dude does incredible stuff in what he does, and he's showing up to fires and he's prepared for every situation that could happen, and he's not going to show up, I mean, if somebody called him for a fire and he's like, well, I mean, Tuesday, I don't really feel like doing it today. No, of course not. He's got to be there. He's got to be prepared. He's got to have all of his gear ready to go because he has no idea what's going to happen. I mean, even if it's like, hey, there's a cat stuck in a tree, right? I'm sure you've had a couple of those calls. I actually had one of those calls, Shane. There was a cat on my roof. I don't know whose cat it was. I'm like, get this cat off my roof. I don't know how long it's going to be there.
There's a saying we always kind of joke around about that is, have you ever seen a cat skeleton in a tree?
No.
Yeah,
that's basically what they told me.
They're gonna get down, So.
Yeah, they were like, he got up there, he can get down, but they had nothing else to do, which is great. So of course, the whole neighborhood's like, oh my god, what's happening? Yeah, that was the thing. But anyways, right? It is showing up to the market fully prepared for anything that can happen. And then on some days, it's just a cat in a tree, and you can just leave it there, right? But in other days, you got a lot to do. Right? And by having that rule set, you know exactly what to do. And that's the real difference between the best, right? People who are successful in the market and everybody else, because they don't know what they're going to do. They don't have consistency and discipline, but you guys, soon to be graduates in a couple days, know exactly what you're going to do, no matter what. Now, there will be circumstances. I will tell you this right now. There will be something that pops up that you're not expecting, that was not in your rule set. And then you're going to have to add that to your rules later so it doesn't come back and bite you. That's happened to me a dozen times, for sure. Right? There's always the deer in the headlight moments of, oh, I didn't realize that could happen. Okay, let's deal with this and let's move on. Right? That's going to happen to you, for sure. What's up, Kasia?
Kind of to continue what Charlotte was saying, the more I watch YouTube professionals, or no, trading professionals on YouTube, the more I see a pattern of, on one hand, yeah, you have to have a plan. On the other hand, you just as much need to practice your psychology. So just like you're reading your or practicing your plan, doing back testing, you would need to practice, okay, the trade is going against me. Instead of holding it, hoping, which I've done a lot and I'm still guilty and I'm working through it. It's like you literally have to practice in the morning. Hey, if this happens, I'm going to do this. So it's almost like a muscle. Just almost knowing is not enough. Right? And knowledge is not enough to execute. You need to practice it over and over again in order to actually be successful. And that's what I see a pattern of this from many kind of high-level people who actually make money in trading.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I truly understood when I started this journey.
The fake guru lifestyle, right? What's portrayed in the movies, the excitement, the fun, the scariness of trading doesn't have to exist. It can be there for you if you want it, but a lot of that's fiction, right? But to expound on that point, right? The Olympics just started, right? Those people who are world class at skiing, at curling, at whatever their particular sport is, they don't do this as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be successful in trading, you don't do this as a hobby. This will eat you up, chew you out, and spit you on the ground. You're going to wonder how you got there. If you treat this as a business, treat this like you are as I stumble over my words, professional YouTuber. Treat this as if you are a professional. You can have professional life-changing results, professional type of experiences. If you treat it like a hobby, if you treat it like gambling, it will treat you that same way. It can financially devastate you. Right? Like the Tiger King said, I'm never going to financially recover from this. Or I know how to create generational wealth. All I got to do is show up, follow my rules. They're proven to work. And then just implement it with consistency and discipline.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Dude, I love it. I'm proud of you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. Just think of how much you have grown and changed and improved in the last several months, right? Like this opportunity you had absolutely can change your life. It can change your life, your kid's life, your grandkids' life, all future generations can 100%, potentially, I can't make any promises, be changed from what you just learned in class over the last several months. And I am so proud of you. You've come so far, and this is only the beginning. You've got a huge career of trading in front of you, as long as you treat it like a career. And the next time we meet will be the last time. It'll be graduation, and we have lots of guest speakers. You know, at graduation, right? They have all the valedictorian and everybody has their moment in the sun to do their speeches, right? Totally going to have some of those, right? Some encouraging words to make sure to put you on the right track. But most of all, right? Taking this investment, not just for those in class, but for those of you watching live and watching the replays as well, you can find incredible generational wealth. You can find success in the markets, right? And it doesn't have to cost $10,000 a quarter or anything crazy like that, right? Just understanding the processes, understanding how the market works. And then, of course, a couple tools here and there like Outlier make things a lot easier. but I'm really proud of you. You're about to be set free. You're about to fly, my little birdies, fly. You're going to do great. So, okay, that's going to wrap it for today. Again, super proud of you. Next time we see each other, will be the last class. Will be our graduation. So if somebody were looking to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, what do you think they should do? Click one of the buttons. We're almost done with finger dancing. You guys are great. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.